Welcome to I Create Image TV, empowering you in unlocking your talents, dreams, and who you are by transforming your image from the inside out. Today I have the privilege to interview the founder of FetchMyCoach, Petros Galanoulis, a very busy man with a wealth of knowledge, and he's helped many overcome many life challenges, including myself. And he's also a public speaker, author in his own right, and personal trainer, life coach, much more. Welcome, Petros.
Thank you.
And how are you feeling today?
Warm.
Warm?
Yes, we're having a beautiful summer day in Melbourne.
It is.
But otherwise pretty pumped.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here because, we're about to introduce you to the audience about who you are, and you'll share your life story with them and how you got started. So maybe perhaps let's start with just a basic overview of who you are and your background and how did this all started.
Well, I guess it goes back to when Mum and Dad first arrived in the country, straight from Greece to Australia. And I grew up with a lot of pasticcio, tzatziki, and a lot of humble pie.
Meat pie?
Oh, well, meat, humble, lots of humbleness in it though.
Yeah.
But, Mum and Dad, typical village ethic, work hard.
Can relate to that?
Absolutely. So growing up was it was tough. We were a family that always looked at some way to survive. It was a little bit cold. It was a little bit there was struggle. Okay, with a lot of migrants, not all of them were success stories.
Yeah.
So a lot of them had to work hard. My dad started off like many other Greeks at the Ford factory.
Yes.
Then Mum and Dad moved into the fish and chip shop, and that was all right for a while. But then times changed, and things became difficult. So it was always, or more often than not, we were always talking about why us, why are things so bad, and asking all these very negative questions. It's something I carried, I guess, into my teenage life and into my uni life, where I thought I knew it all, that I had some direction, and next thing I know, I'm 30 and I've hit a brick wall. Okay. And finally, I sat up and said, there's got to be a better way. This is not working. I was quite disillusioned.
In what ways?
Well, disillusioned in that I felt that I tried many different things, thought I was doing things right, and to always end up hitting a brick wall became very frustrating and painful. So, I always, the date 5th of July 2007 comes to mind. It was a day before my 30th when I finally made that decision that I was going to unlock the secret. But it took a few years. I read a lot of things again, tried a lot of things, and I still wasn't getting anywhere. And I was really disillusioned with this concept of success and living a great life. But the person you see today started at that point. So at the 5th of July 2007 is where this Petros started to sort of appear.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's how it started.
Fantastic. Wow. So why did you get into this today?
Well,
what's driving you?
It was something really, actually, it was a little bit strange, if I'm going to be completely open and honest. In my darkest of hours, I found that a lot of people were coming to me for help, which I found very mind-boggling. I thought, why are people coming to me? Surely the energy I'm giving out is anything but helpful. But even stranger was that whatever I was telling them was working.
Wow. So you've had that in you already.
I must have had, well, I know now I had it in me, but at the time, I didn't know I had it in me, and it really had me thinking, what's this about?
Of course.
But even more powerful was every time I did it, I learned something about myself and actually felt better. So, it took me a few years of doing this, and then finally I thought, you know what? Maybe this is what I need to be doing. So did my studies in life coaching, tried to get my own business up and running. I've got a few other little projects that keep me entertained. But many false starts, many mistakes, many setbacks or kicks in the guts, as I like to call them.
Yep.
Just makes them sound as hard as they were at the time, So, but I always knew that this is what I wanted to do. So there was no doubt. I pushed through.
Yeah, fantastic. Great. So you're flying solo now, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, I know that fact that because I'm doing similar to what you're doing. That it takes a lot of hard work, dedication, sacrifices. How did you break through all this? It's
Painfully.
Very painful, yeah.
As I was saying before, trying to juggle studying, a day job, and trying to launch not just one business project, but essentially I had 2 or 3 on the go.
Wow.
Because business brings out my creative side, and I love it.
Yes.
But at the same time, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. Yep.
So here I am trying to juggle some pretty massive things, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a bit at a time. Obviously, I don't have the funds to go and hire professionals to do it all for me.
No, it would be good, wouldn't it?
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But the reality was that money wasn't there.
Yeah.
I'd lost a lot of money in previous business ventures. Had some money put into a business just prior to a separation. Naturally things just weren't working out. So I'd lost a lot of money taking risks, which is great, but I still didn't have the money. So I had to fumble my way through it, which meant that when things were working, it was good, but when things didn't work, it was a big blow. So there were a lot of times where I sort of sat and thought, is this worth it?
Yeah.
So it's not easy, but, there's a little something behind this area of my head here that's always talking to me and says, remember, every time you falter, you learn and get better.
Yeah.
And there's always a worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is I could go back to the life I had, which I wouldn't do ever.
Yeah.
So where does it all come from? It comes from a want to do better, to experience life better. And also that love of trying to help others have their own breakthrough. So that's powerful enough to keep you going.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm inspired.
Good.
So that brings us to the next topic. So then recently you have launched a new website called FetchMyCoach.
Yes.
So I'm very interested because I wanted to know what, how the difference between what's available out there to what you're offering.
Yeah, look, one of, I guess, my characteristics is that I don't necessarily like doing things the way they're already being done. I'm always looking for ways to innovate, to create, to make more accessible and give people more options.
Yeah.
So at the moment, if you go to a life coach, more or less you're basically given an hourly rate.
Yes.
You sit down for your hourly session and they might offer you a deal if you buy multiple sessions. And I thought, okay, not a bad system, it's worked for many years. But I thought, what else can I do? Because I wanted it to be more accessible, a little bit more fun and valuable for people.
Yes.
So there's 2 big features that I created. I moved away from a purely hour or by the hour process.
Okay.
Because, a lot of sessions, you buy yourself an hour and you might finish in 45 minutes. Now that 15 minutes you don't use, you don't get that back.
No, you don't.
So what I've done is first thing I did is I came up with a pay by the minute system.
Okay.
So I charge a certain rate per minute, and you might say, look, my budget allows me for 45 minutes this month or this week, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So you buy 45 minutes.
Okay.
So that way we spend the 45 minutes and you've gotten what you paid for, but more importantly, you're not limited to an hourly rate. You can say, look, my budget is this, I'm going to plan for this, so it allows you to plan your coaching as well, financially,
Yes.
and you have the power, so you dictate the budget, and that's how much we coach you for.
That's great.
Now there is a minimum half-hour requirement, and that's because anything less than half an hour is really not worth the time for either of us.
That's so true, because as soon as you start talking...
Exactly. By the
That
time you
takes
talk
about
about what you did on the
minutes.
weekend.
Yes.
Anyway, so the second thing I did was, okay, how can I build this business up so it's a nice, strong community of people that are wanting to, get better in their life. So availability became a thing. So I thought, how can I make my business or life coaching in general more available?
Yeah.
Now, Of course, what I've come up with is this membership system. So for a small annual fee, I use that as an excuse then to almost halve my rate based on an hour.
Half.
Virtually halve it.
Wow.
So
can you tell me, sorry to break you
go for it.
what's the normal hourly rate?
So a normal hourly rate, if you were to come through just normally without the membership system, it based on 1 hour, it's $165 for the hour, which is give or take about the average for the industry.
Okay.
Now, so doing it through my membership system, okay, so it basically brings it down to $90 for an hour.
Right.
Okay.
Wow. That's good.
Yep.
That's good.
Now the coaching, I tend to do it for efficiency and for ease and flexibility. I coach over webcam or over the phone,
Yeah.
which seems to be the trend.
Yeah.
We can meet face to face for a small surcharge because I have to book a venue, but we can meet face to face as well, and it still works out very economical.
Fantastic.
So the idea is flexibility, accessibility, and innovation.
Fantastic.
The idea is to let's get this out there to as many people, because I know for a fact there are many people looking for a way out,
Yeah.
for a way to change their life.
Oh yeah.
And everyone deserves to have that better life. Even if you think your life is awesome, there's always that other level.
Yeah.
And I mean, you wouldn't want anything less for your loved ones. Why would you want anything less for yourself?
I agree.
So-
There's always that challenge at different levels, and you just want to keep breaking that through
It's a
until
big
you
world.
reach where you want to go,
Exactly.
and then go again.
And then go again, that's right.